me talk to you.
The biggest icon in wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me talk to you.
Welcome. We are live for another episode of Let Me Talk to You. Of course, you're with your boy Frankie Fresco, and then my partner in crime, D Trapio. What's up, bro?
What's up, brother?
How's everything? How's the weather over there, bro?
Bro, it's breezy, man. You can feel that storm coming in, bro.
Jesus. So, guys, if you guys are in Florida, shout out to everybody over there in the Panhandle. I hope you guys are getting prepared for the hurricane. It looks like it's heading straight to Tallahassee around that Florida State area. So just be very, very careful if you guys are around that area. I just want to let you guys know that here by my house, I live south, and some of the outer bands are actually hitting me. So if I lose connection, Nick, just try to keep you going, I guess, in the meantime, and then I'll try to come back in. But yeah, I just got like a huge burst of wind here along with rain, and it looked pretty bad for a minute there. I was like, man, Jesus Christ, I hope I could do the show. But just in case I lose connection or something like that, I just want to let you guys know it might be because of that, because I got some outer bands of that hurricane like hitting my area. So but besides that, let's talk a little bit about wrestling and South Florida sports. And of course, guys, don't forget to hit the like, don't forget to hit the subscribe, and also don't forget to go ahead and share with your friends and family. We really do appreciate it. I see Steven Gonzalez was first. What up, Frankie? How about Jay Uso? Yeet, of course, yes. Me and Sean, we weren't able to do the Squared Circle the Squared Circle Digest podcast yesterday. We had a couple things going on. He was a little bit tied up, and so was I. But hopefully we get to be able to bring it back by either this week. If not, we'll definitely bring it back next week. We have a lot to talk about, and if you guys have not tuned in, definitely try to tune in on Netflix, man. That document series of Vince McMahon is actually really, really fire. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So
how many episodes is that?
It's actually 6 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. I'm actually on episode 4 right now, so I've been looking at it. Shout out to Memo. What up, fellas? And then, of course, he goes in and says, Frankie owes me $100 from our bet. I knew Jay would win. Sir, we did not bet. Okay, just want to let you know we did not bet.
Wow.
You said, I was confident with my bet. I was like, yo, Braun Breaker is going to win. And then all of a sudden, Braun Breaker loses, which was a surprise for me. But
Braun Breaker folded like paper, sir. Folded like paper.
He did, man. He did. But I wouldn't be surprised if they run it back. And I wouldn't be surprised if Braun Breaker probably takes it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But let's talk a little bit about wrestling. Obviously, we're going to start off with NXT. The last show on USA Network was last night. We got a lot to talk about. And all of a sudden, starting next week, sir, we're in the CW, baby. We're in the CW. I'm actually excited because I found out, Nick, I don't know if you have this, but I found out on my direct TV channel 33 for me is CW. So I get to watch CW for free locally. So I don't know if you're in South Florida or any of you guys listening, but for us, it's actually local, and you do get to see CW for free in Florida. Not sure if it's going to be the same channel, but at least for anybody in the Miami-Dade, Broward County, and West Palm, it should be channel 33. As far as NXT, we'll go into depth as far as what happened this past episode, and then talk a little bit about next week. We're also gonna chime in just a little bit on the Vince McMahon documentary. I want to go ahead and tell you guys what I have seen and what I thought about it, and if the Trapper has seen it, or if not, then we could always get an opinion of what he thinks about Vince. Well, then go ahead and talk about, of course, the Dolphins. We got a big game on Monday against Tennessee. I got some video I wanted to show you guys, and we wanted to go ahead and kind of give you our thoughts as far as what we think about Skyler, the whole Mike McDaniel drama going on right now, and if he is the reason why the Miami Dolphins are not successful as of yet. So we'll get to that. We'll go ahead and also speak about college football. You got another good round of football this past weekend. All you Canes fans again must be happily and enjoy because you guys won again, like always. But we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about the Canes, of course, and we'll talk about Florida State and Florida, who actually, both of them actually won as well. And then our local Florida teams as well, We'll talk a little bit about Caitlin Clark, the lady out there, Caitlin Clark, getting her ass beat down a couple of times out there, and WNBA not giving a damn. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll close the show with soccer. But first, let's start with, of course, the background that we have, and that is NXT, sir. Talk to me, sir. Did you get a chance to watch the last episode of NXT, or did you just get to see some of the highlights out there, sir?
I got to see some of the highlights. It did feel like a goodbye, more or less, but this is more of a transition to a new chapter, and I'm excited, man. I think NXT is gonna find its way to try to be bigger, and let's see what happens when they transition to CW.
Absolutely. And of course, one of the big stories that was happening last night was, of course, the appearance of the Grayson Waller effect. They had the show out there, and of course, Nathan Frazier and Axiom were the invited guests. You had obviously Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, who went ahead and brought the show. And remember, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory were NXT back in the day, so it was good to see them back again in NXT. Of course, they were promoting it because they will be fighting against each other in not next week, but the following. So in 2 weeks, they'll be going up against each other for the tag team NXT belts. But sir, not only did they go ahead and have this Grayson Waller effect programming, I guess his little show that he likes to do sometimes on SmackDown, they were trying to create some controversy. They were saying that XCM and Nathan Frazier are they're not in sync. They're not there. They're not in the right spot, and that they're going to lose their tag team belts. What Nathan Frazier and XCM went ahead and did to counter that was that they went ahead and they said, hey, you know what, Grayson? Let me ask you something, sir. Why is this show called the Grayson Waller Effect? Where's Austin Theory? He is your partner in crime. Why is this show not called the Grayson Waller Austin Theory Effect if both of you guys are a tag team group? And of course, Grayson Waller went ahead and said, hey, look, hold on a second. I had this show before I teamed up with Austin Theory. But that doesn't mean that Austin Theory did not go ahead and agree with Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Sir, they were creating that controversy, and right before they were able to go ahead and create any more controversy and any heat between those two, of course, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory went ahead and took their matter in their own hands, and they went ahead and they beat down the tag team champions and held the NXT belts to give you guys a preview of possibly them becoming the new NXT tag team champions. So, sir, talk to me, sir. Will this finally happen? Remember, NXT has been kind of, playing around with our emotions, giving us that little, kind of like what they've done with the New Day. You know how they always they have the New Day sometimes like arguing with one another, and then all of a sudden, Kofi is upset, and then you have them going ahead and saying, yo, it's time to like split up. So they kind of tease us that they're gonna split up, and then all of a sudden they've been kind of doing the same thing in NXT with Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Do you finally see these two losing to A-Town Down Under in 2 weeks on the CW, sir?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think this is a great opportunity for Axiom and his partner to kind of take different routes and kind of venture onto their own thing. Eventually, it's gonna happen with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory as well. But the difference is that they both had independent routes before getting put together, and so I just feel like they're definitely gonna not only defeat this tag team, but they're gonna beat the shit out of them. I think this is going to be a not gonna. It's not going to be a balanced match. I think this is going to be a match where they're going to show why Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are a dynamic duo when it comes to the tag team.
Yeah, something's telling me that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory can possibly win this match, but I don't know yet. I don't know that they would go ahead and jump immediately and have them on a continuous basis on the NXT brand until possibly maybe they start officially making NXT like its own single brand. So maybe you'll see it, maybe you're not, but I don't think I think it's too soon. I don't think we'll see. I think this is a good test for XCM and Nathan Frazier to go up against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And I think this is kind of like a tryout for them. They're gonna win, but we want to see how they can hang with them. And if they do really well, then I wouldn't be surprised that if there's still a WWE draft, that these two, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, would then now eventually drop the belts to somebody else in NXT, not particularly to Grayson Waller and to Austin Theory, but they would drop belts to somebody else in NXT and then move on to the main brand, SmackDown or Monday Night Raw. More likely would probably be SmackDown because now you could create a storyline between these two in SmackDown since Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are already in the SmackDown brand.
But you wouldn't think, you wouldn't look at Dirty Dom. He had the championship in NXT and he was going back and forth from main show to NXT, main show to NXT. Why not Grayson Waller and Austin Theory?
I just feel that Nathan Frazier and Austin Theory, I'm sorry, Nathan Frazier and XCM they're better than who I forgot who Dominic Mysterio beat for the NXT North American champion. I know he beat Wesley at one point in time, but I wasn't sure if it was only him. I thought he beat somebody else on top of that. So I'm not sure, but I don't think those two need to lose their belts and then just have Austin Theory and Grayson Waller be in NXT. I just don't see it. Like I feel that Nathan Frazier and Axiom have already established themselves so well in the NXT brand that I don't feel that they need those two guys to come and help them. I think this is just a way for them to try it out and they still solidify themselves as the NXT champions, tag team champions. And then from there, eventually, if they do a draft, then move them to the main roster. Because remember, one thing that I have noticed about Raw and SmackDown is that the tag team division has been very, very weak on both
very
brands.
weak.
They're not strong. So I feel that these two guys would make a move over to the main brand, would help the tag team division, but I don't see them just going ahead and losing the belts and then moving over there, especially if you want to keep Austin Theory and Grayson Waller in the SmackDown brand. Now, if they do some crazy 90-degree type of angle here where they start now bringing some of these guys over to the NXT brand, then I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they lose the belts to Grayson Waller and to Austin Theory, but I don't see it. Not right now. I just don't see it. Again, we don't know
a wrestler. You don't see a wrestler that's gonna be like the face of NXT from the roster's perspective. Like, you don't think Charlotte Flair would be a good like person to bring to NXT and
well, remember, there is a lot of them that have come back. And remember, Charlotte Flair used to be in NXT. So a lot of these ex NXT wrestlers, and I'm gonna show you guys a recap video, which was pretty cool that NXT did do.
I did.
Showing everybody, everybody who used to be in NXT and everybody who has come and also been like, as a special guest and all that stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised that I had some of those guys show up on the NXT. That was cool. That I like that about NXT and the WWE. I feel that sometimes Triple H and Shawn Michaels, even though the wrestlers might not be in WWE anymore, they still give them their kudos because they were part of history when it came to NXT.
100%.
So I like that about that. And we're talking mainly about Keith Lee. He was on that video. And we're also talking about Adam Cole and all that stuff. So a couple of guys who were there that you'll see them. I'm gonna show the video before we move on to the next topic. But I will say this again. We will see, because remember the first two shows are outside of the a training facility in Orlando. So we're gonna find out what NXT can do. I haven't looked at the numbers. We'll talk about that next week. How the Chicago ticket sales are going or how they went, and then we'll talk about the St. Louis tickets, how they're going or how they went as well, because that's gonna be the test if they could actually move the NXT brand and start possibly moving them out of the Orlando training facility and expanding it and trying to give shows outside of that little arena. Only time will tell, but we'll see what happens. But yes, I do feel that they will bring main wrestlers from the main roster to the NXT if they decide to go that route. If they decide to make NXT like their own brand, like the third brand instead of like a developmental brand, and they start to go ahead and start doing shows outside of the outside of the training facility in Orlando. That's the only way I'll start seeing again like a Becky Lynch come back and just have a run there, or Grayson Waller and Austin Theory have a run there. That's the only way I look at it right now. I still think they're not. I think they're testing waters is what they're doing. And remember, Nick, they want to know how CW does ratings wise. So that's another big thing. Remember, they just signed a contract, and I know it doesn't matter whether they get ratings or not, but they have to see what works. One of the things that has worked has always been, hey, do it at the training facility. Now, doesn't
they might also have to change GMs. Like I forgot her name right now as a GM, but at the same
Ava.
time, I feel like she doesn't provide that authority like the other GMs do in Raw and SmackDown.
She does a pretty decent job. I like that they include her in a lot of decisions. She's always in there. She has her image, and of course, she is related to The Rock. So I think that's why they have her mainly as the general manager there. To answer No Doubt's question, how many traveling shows are they having? As of right now, from what I've heard, it's only two. Now I don't know if they're gonna have more after that. I think what they're gonna try to possibly do is see how those ticket sales go, and if those ticket sales do really, really well, then I think they'll start booking more and more events outside of the training facility. Now, on top of obviously going ahead and having, the fight between Austin Theory and Grayson Waller and Nexium during the Grayson Waller Effect show, there was more NXT going on as well. And one of the things that we spoke about last week was the fact that we had Rich Holland going ahead one-on-one against Riley, the last member of the Chase U family. And unfortunately, we all kind of predicted this. We all kind of saw it coming. Riley, he's the youngest one out there. He's kind of like the rookie out of the whole Chase U brand. He got his ass kicked, of course, but he didn't go without a fight. He did go afterwards, and he after Rich Holland beat him, Rich Holland did go outside the ring and started stomping him and wanted to kind of punish him the same way he punished Duke, the same way he punished Andre Chase. And Riley was the only one that actually was able to go ahead and defend himself really well and was able not to get knocked out. So maybe this is a way for NXT to go ahead and push him and say, hey, look, you're not going to be like the third guy of the group. We might give you a little bit of a push. Personally, myself, I always wanted Rich Holland to stay in Chase U, and I wanted him to have like a feud with Duke. I wanted to see Duke outside of Chase U, but that didn't pan out. But, if they're going to push Riley, I think that's cool. I think that they're going to eventually run it back, because Thea was getting involved as well. Thea was right in front of him and say, yo, I ain't leaving. You ain't going to beat him down like you've beaten Duke in the same way you've beaten Andre Chase. So to my surprise, which I was telling you last week, because I thought he was actually going to go and I thought he was going to hit Thea, but he did not hit Thea. He was about to. He was like so close of hitting her a couple times. It was crazy. And what's up, Sean? Thank you, sir, for also tuning in. And of course, Sean, with the stats coming in, as of Friday, 6,000 sold, and there's 1,400 available. And the St. Louis is much smaller venue that had 500 tickets left available as of Friday. So, sir, thank you once again for that. And in Chicago, it's 6K is for Chicago. So they have 6,000 seats already sold. So that's not bad, man. That's a pretty good. But remember, Chicago is a wrestling type of a city. So, and of course, they brought CM Punk. And every time CM Punk goes to Chicago, you know you're gonna get a sold out crowd pretty much because everybody wants to see CM Punk. So, sir, talk to me, man. Did you get a chance to see Rich Holland go ahead and destroy Riley out here, or do you see them running it back? Do you think are they gonna try to do something, or is it gonna be Andre Chase finally coming back now that he saw that Riley kind of stood up for himself?
I don't know where they're going with this. This is a very tricky story. I just have a feeling something's gonna go. There's gonna be a 180 turn here. I'm just not sure what direction they're trying to go with this, but for right now, I mean, it's really up in the air, and I don't know. I don't know how long this Chase U persona can last. I mean, they've been going on for years now, so I'm wondering if they're trying to move on from having that Chase U type of image, or they're trying to implement a new leader. I'm not sure, but let's see. Let's see what they do with Chase U. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm kind of getting, um, I'm not getting that much interest in Chase U. I think it's just a team of wrestlers who are they're trying to build something, but it's not. It hasn't had the same push as like during I don't know during like 2021, 2022 type of era. So let's see what they do, but let's find out.
Yeah, man, and I will say this: I am still a big fan of Chase U. I think Chase U. I'm a fan favorite of Chase U. If I could, I would be one of the people on the stands with the Chase U attire because they all like to be on that corner of the end of the arena training facility. And they're always rooting for Chase U. But I'm sorry, guys, I can't be a Chase U fan because they always throw the U, and you know me, me and the U don't get along. So that's the reason why
Good point.
I would not go ahead and be part of that fan base. But I still do like Chase U. Another match that came about was Wendy Chu and Rosemary going on a tag team match against Brinley Reese and Carmen Petrovic. And the reason I wanted to bring this up was because this is a new tag team. Brinley Reese and Carmen Petrovic is the first time we see them as a tag team group, and they did lose. Rosemary and Wendy Chu did defeat them, but it was interesting and to see that here is another group, two young ladies who are actually now teaming up and working together. And I think this match was more of a way for them to kind of get their feet wet. I didn't see them losing to Wendy Chu and Rosemary. Both of them are strong right now, and they're selling them a lot because of the whole feud that they had with Kalani Jordan and all that. And then Rosemary, obviously from TNA. So I wanted to bring them up because this two young ladies will be a name to be reckoned with. I think they did a really, really good job in this match. They both went ahead and showcased themselves. They lost, but keep an eye out. These two young ladies will be the next future. I don't know if they're still going to be tag team, but they looked really good. So I wanted to go ahead and mention both Brinley and Carmen because, you know, we don't, a lot of you guys who watch NXT don't see them wrestle. You just see them usually in the back, just going ahead and, having their little segments. The other match that we had, of course, was besides Grayson Waller and Austin Theory affecting or attacking Nathan Frazier and Axiom, they also ran into the back against Javon. And what ended up happening? Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander ended up tagging as a team, going again against A-Town Down Under. And of course, you had the involvement of again Nathan Frazier and Axiom getting involved. And what ended up happening is, unfortunately, there was a mistake between them, some miscommunication, and it cost Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander the match. But I will say this, though, Nick. This is interesting, and I'm starting to see something that is trending in NXT. Everybody has a lot of hype on Javon Evans. He is one of the bright futures of the NXT. I don't know if anytime soon he's going to be moving to the main roster, but you're putting him up against Grayson Waller. You're putting him up against Austin Theory. In a couple weeks, he's going to be going up against Randy Orton. I think these guys, NXT, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H, are basically showcasing Javon and seeing how he could hang with the main roster. And
Definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised, maybe not this year, but maybe the following year. I think he's gonna jump a lot of people and be moved to the main roster because when you
Mhm.
if you see this fight, Javon Evans was high flyer, dude. He was jumping everywhere. He was attacking everywhere. It looked amazing the way he was attacking, how he was defending and doing really well. And we know that obviously Cedric Alexander is an old school wrestler for WWE. So this is not for Cedric Alexander. For obviously, this is more for Javon Evans to showcase himself against a main roster wrestler in Grayson Waller and obviously Austin Theory. So talk to me, Nick. Obviously, they lost against this group against Aton Down, but are you excited to see Javon Evans versus Randy Orton in 2 weeks in the CW?
Before I give you my answer, guys, I see a lot of people tuning in. Please hit that like button. If you have a little bit more extra time, hit that subscribe. I really appreciate that. When it comes to this match between Javon and Randy, man, I'm excited. I think Javon has a lot of potential. That, like you say, he's a high flyer. The crowd is into it. He makes the crowd engaged. It just feels like this is a guy who is ready to kind of step up to the bigger stages, but they're just showcasing him right now and allowing him to show that, you know, he can keep up with the big time wrestlers. So definitely, I agree with you 100%. This is one big move that I believe Shawn Michaels does see in the future, and you nailed it. It's coming, and we're just waiting.
And of course, to end the show, last night we had a special surprise guest at NXT, and it was none other than Stephanie Valcour, finally from San Fernando, Chile, finally making her debut in NXT. Remember, if you guys don't know who Stephanie Valcour is, she was the one who wrestled Mercedes Moné in AEW. And then she turned down the AEW offer and she made her way over to the WWE. And now she went ahead and is now in the NXT brand. And the reason she went ahead and actually came out was because obviously you have the next fight that is happening this upcoming week, which is going to be Roxanne Perez versus Julia. So it's the reason Valcour came out. She didn't physically come out, but a video of her showed, and she said, "Hey, look, you guys are not the only two that are going to be going for that NXT Women's title. I'm the next opponent, so you better watch out." So, sir, I don't know if you know who Stephanie Valcour is, but man, she is a freaking amazing wrestler. She was she could showcased herself really well in AEW, and I'm really excited to see her in the NXT brand. I'm glad they didn't put her in the main roster. I'm glad they're bringing her into NXT. And again, another very, very good opponent who is probably going to be next against the winner of that Julia versus Roxanne Perez. Sir, are you excited about Stephanie Valcour? And what do you think from Chile, sir? I know you're a fan of Chile.
Shout out to Chile. That's my other side of my family, of course. When it comes to this is just proving the fact that AEW just knows how to, you know, farm and develop wrestlers, man. And now NXT and WWE are just, you know, swooping them up. And I'm excited for her. I'm excited for her potential, but I'm even more excited for AEW. They keep developing these wrestlers, and WWE is just pretty much like, okay, they're developed, well coached, and now we'll just, you know, scoop them up. So let's see what happens.
Well, remember, she is not. Keep in mind, she's not from AEW. She showcased herself in AEW. She was from one of the, I believe, one of the Japanese leagues that they have in wrestling. And when they had the Forbidden Door, if I'm not mistaken, that's where we saw Stephanie Valcour versus Mercedes Moné. So she was showcased in AEW because of the Forbidden Door in their contract, you know, when they have like other wrestlers from other organizations go one-on-one against each other. So that's how I know her about Stephanie Valcour. But it is nice to see her obviously moving on to the NXT world. And it was kind of like in my opinion, a slap to the face to Tony Khan, because they really wanted her, but her dream was to always go to WWE. So she's not fulfilling it. And I think she's going to have.
TK needs to realize, man, that he can't be WWE, but he can be, you know, a developmental type of league. And sometimes having academy is much bigger than being the main platform.
Absolutely. Now, sir, we are going to go ahead and show a video. This is a video montage. I'm pretty sure they're going to copyright me. I tried to get like the audio. It's not the best quality audio, so I apologize, guys. I don't want to put the audio that they used, because I think if I show that, it's with more reason they're going to go ahead and copyright us. They might copyright us. I don't care. I want you guys to see it. I kind of try to do a little bit of like trimming it that way. Maybe they don't copyright us, but whatever. I'm still gonna show it because, of course, we talk NXT here, and I want to go ahead and show you guys a video, a montage video of them going ahead and showcasing their whole NXT, like segments and everything that they've done in the USA. And it's been an era. It's been a pretty cool run for them in the USA channel. And it's a step up now that they're moving on to the CW. So let me go ahead and play this for you guys. And you guys tell me what you think.
The hardest brand in the business. We are live.
History being made in NXT on USA Network. The sky's the limit.
And we
132.
NXT. Number one network on cable TV.
What a moment! I'm the ESP of NXT, and you can't book me.
Finn Balor is NXT. Name Damian Priest will live forever. Open your eyes, because we are the way. Goldie, Daddy's home. Let's go to NXT special. Now that is a teachable moment. I
It's Jimmy time.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all it's ever gonna be. From a sidekick to a champion. This is history, man. There's a list of WWE superstars kicking down the door to stand right here.
The line has come around to NXT.
This is pretty cool. It's magical here, isn't it? Zombie! Expect the unexpected. This is what NXT is all about. It's Wale in the NXT arena. Guess who's back? This is two-time NBA All-Star Tyrese Halliburton. I want all of us to at least continue to make NXT exactly what it's always been, the best wrestling brand in the world today. Every week, we will give you every bit of passion that we have. No freaking way! It's a brand new era in the rich history of NXT. The brand that you created. We are all NXT.
And that was the video recap that they went ahead and showed for all you NXT fans out there. I mean, it was a cool little montage. It gave us everything. It gave us, obviously, Johnny Gargano. Ciampa was out there. You saw Finn Balor out there. Even our boy Dom Mysterio was out there when he won it. Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, and you look at all these guys, and like we spoke about earlier, Keith Lee and obviously Adam Cole, all those guys. Like you look at them when they were in NXT and how they've grown, and it's cool, man. And it's something that you never thought that this brand would become this popular. And dude, I think what I've gotten to realize is I'll be honest with you guys. I was not an NXT person. I didn't care about NXT. I really wasn't. I mean, I knew about Adam Cole and I knew about Finn Balor and I knew about Rhea Ripley. I started kind of tuning in a little bit more with Rhea Ripley there, and I've seen some past shows with Charlotte Flair and Bailey and all them. But I finally told Sean, and I told Sean, I was like, Sean, I'm gonna start tuning into NXT, man. Let me see if it grows on me. And little by little, it has. And now I'm full throttle with NXT. I think NXT is an amazing brand. I think NXT has grown way, way more to like levels I never thought it would. And I love the fact that Triple H and Shawn Michaels have, they haven't put it in the back burner. I think Vince McMahon at one point in time didn't want the brand or didn't care too much about the brand. And I think now It's one of the biggest brands in WWE. I think this is one of the reasons why NXT should become a third brand on its own. And I think the future looks bright for NXT, man. I like them in CW, and I hope you guys all tune in. What do you talk to me, Nick? What do you think, man? Are you excited about NXT of what they've done and obviously what the future holds?
Definitely. I'm a late bloomer when it comes to NXT. I've known and I've seen NXT when it first started. But like you said, it's slowly grown on me. I'm very excited for what this brand can. This is not their ceiling. This is just the beginning, and let's see what they do in the CW.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, I think the future is bright for NXT, and we will definitely check it out next week. What will happen? It should be an exciting show. Again, it's in Chicago. There's a lot of matches that are going to be taking place. You're going to have Roxanne Perez versus Julia. You're going to have also Miss TV next week. He's going to be having the Dawn and Obafemi as special guest. You're gonna have the street fight between Wes Lee and Zachary Wentz. You know, it's a stacked card for a Tuesday night show. So I could only hope that you guys will tune in to NXT just like all of us have. And shout out to NXT, man. They've done a phenomenal job with that brand. And shout out to Shawn Michaels and, of course, Triple H. Now, before we head on out, sir, there was a comment there by Josh, and he had mentioned, he said, "What up, Frankie the Trapper? Have you guys watched the Mr. McMahon document series?" So let me go ahead and tell you guys what I think about the document series. And here, oh, this is a good one. Shout out to everyone in chat, including Frankie Fresco. Keep up with the good work on the channel. Appreciate it. Shout out to South Bronx, brother BKL Contreras, aka Sport Entertainment Guy. Hell yeah, brother. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
brother,
sir.
for tuning in. As far as the documentary series with Vince McMahon, have I watched it? So if you guys know, I'm a cheap ass. I don't like to pay a lot, and obviously I don't have Netflix, but it was trending today in X. I was like, there's no way I'm not gonna go ahead and tune in and not watch the document series. So I signed up for Netflix. So your boy Frankie Fresco officially does have Netflix again. I've had Netflix before, but there's so many apps that it starts to pile up. But I did started watching the documentary series. I am on episode 4. I was trying to see almost everything, but of course, some things popped up, and obviously I was working, so it was kind of hard to work and watch the docu series. But I will tell you this, Nick. I don't know if you've seen some of the highlights, some of the things that they've been saying on the first 4 episodes. I will tell you this: for you hardcore wrestling fans, if you have seen previous documentaries, there's a lot of stuff that is repetitive from those those series, those documentaries that they've done. Like, for example, if you look at, I think it was the one of WCW. It's on Peacock. The Fall of WCW. I think that's the docu series that they have for WCW. A lot of the stuff for that document was showcased on the Vince McMahon episode. Now there's, I think, 6 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. There are some really cool things. So what I can say about the first couple episodes, and I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but the first episode, they pretty much showcase, Vince McMahon, and they do put like a disclaimer that all this was filmed before he got accused. And obviously he's going through this whole court situation and these lawsuits about, the kind of gross stuff that he was doing. But they do give a different side. And one thing that does stand out about this series is that you see Vince McMahon, and when you listen to him, you're like, if you didn't know that he was getting sued for all this other stuff and all the truth that has come out, you would actually believe him. Like, he's actually a really, really good talker. Like, he lies really well. It's a double-edged sword, because when you look at it, you actually want to believe him, but then you kind of, at the end of the day, you're like, I know he's full of shit, like, he hasn't been doing, like, I know that you're talking shit. So there's a lot of stuff, because at least in the first couple episodes, he describes about himself, how he took over WWE, his whole information as far as like how WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 3. So if you guys know about all that stuff, those first episodes are talk about a lot about that stuff. It also talks about the Attitude Era, the WCW era, all that stuff. So it's kind of like we've seen this. There's a lot of if you're a diehard wrestling fan, you'll probably go ahead and know a lot of what they're talking about because of what they've said in these other previous ones. But there are some cool things that I didn't know. Like, for example, there is a portion on the series where Vince McMahon's character is actually not made by him. I always thought that he made up that character. You know how he struts like this and stuff, and you're fired and all that stuff, Nick. He actually got that from another wrestler a long, long time ago. Some guy, I think his name was Sam Graham or something like that. I didn't know that. That's out of my league. That's way I wasn't even born. But I didn't know that. But that he apparently does go on the series, and he does mention that he was one of his favorite wrestlers, and because of that, he got the idea of the Vince McMahon strutting stuff and his attitude and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. That was something I didn't know about Vince McMahon. So that was pretty cool. But the other kind of stuff has been stuff that I've already kind of seen. And yes, they do talk about ECW as well, which was pretty cool. Let me see what they say here. Jeffrey says, when are they going to bring Easy WWE, NXT, ECW, Chicago? I don't know, man. When are they going to bring Easy? WWE, NXT, ECW, Chicago. Yeah, that would be pretty cool if they do all three of them there. I will say this though. The Chicago episode for NXT is gonna be this Tuesday. So it's gonna be fun because like you said, you have NXT, you got ECW, and you kind of have WWE all three in mix one because you got CM Punk in there, you got the NXT brand. I wouldn't even be surprised if maybe even Paul Heyman would be a pretty cool appearance if he was able to show there. But I will say this, as far as the Vince McMahon documentary series, if you haven't seen it, it's really cool. Watch it. I think it's educating, and you do see, you know, you see how I hope you guys don't get mad at me, but you do see a little how Vince McMahon is cynical. That's the thing about Vince McMahon. You see his cynical because he's a little bit, he thinks about himself. He's very selfish. He only thinks about his product and his feelings, and unfortunately, he doesn't look at the bigger picture. But I can understand why he thinks that way. One of the things that he does mention is that when he was young, he was very poor, and he didn't know or hang out with his father until I think he mentions he was like 12 or 13, and that's when he started realizing what his father was doing in the wrestling business, and then that's when he got involved. And it does tell you like how he started as an announcer and all that stuff. So it's not a bad series. It's a very cool series, and again, like I said, I've only seen 4 episodes. I'm as soon as we're done with the podcast tonight, I'll probably finish watching the rest of the series. So it's all of them are all up. So that's a cool thing too about Netflix. They didn't go ahead and like just promoted one and then you got to tune in next week to watch the next one or something like that. No, they just gave all the series so you get to watch. You could just binge on the docu series of Vince McMahon. Talk to me,
Very
Nick. Will you be watching it? Will you be tuning in? Will you check it out?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a huge wrestling fan, so having to have some sort of awareness of how history works in the wrestling business, I think that's very educational. And let's see, I might not have some time this week due to my traveling, but definitely in the next upcoming days, I'll squeeze in some time to check out the docu series.
Cool, man. So now let's jump into, of course, what a lot of you guys want to talk about. And of course, that is none other than the Miami Dolphins. And of course, it's been rough. It's been a rough couple of days. We've been going through a lot, especially with the whole Tua situation and the whole, you know, passing of I guess you wanted to see Skyler be successful, and then he kind of struggled. You're having people now doubt
Kind of.
you have people doubting Mike McDaniel, some of his decisions, some of his coaching ability. There's a lot going on in the Dolphins world, and then not only that, but guys, it's only the third week. We got a whole full season ahead of us, and it starts with this Monday with Tennessee, and we're gonna get to our predictions as far as what the score or who we think is gonna win. But it is a little bit rough right now when it comes to the Miami Dolphins. I wanted to show you something, sir, because you know, one of our insiders, Marcel Louis Jacques, he went ahead and in the press conference with Tua Tagovailoa, I'm sorry, not with Tua, with Mike McDaniel, a lot of people have always questioned Mike McDaniel as to why, he's putting a lot of pressure on himself, like all the offensive play calling and all that stuff. Marcel in particular says he doesn't feel like McDaniel should give up that responsibility. He feels that he should still keep doing it. But a lot of people in the Miami fan base say, "Hey, that is too much. He needs to stop going ahead and doing that because, he has doing play calls. He's, trying to call timeouts. The play clock is always running short. The Dolphins are always looking like, hey, they're not running the correct routes. You see how Skyler was not actually used properly. So there's a lot. It seems like he's overwhelmed, and I wanted to show you guys what Mike McDaniel has to say about him giving up his play calling duties. So let me share this with you guys, and me and the Trapper are gonna talk about this to let you guys know. So let me make the screen bigger for you guys, and let's go ahead and play it. Hold on.
I think that whatever it is, I think I'm a veteran enough to the National Football League that I expect to field those types of questions randomly when your production isn't near what anyone wants. So I think it's important as the head coach and leader to take accountability for all decisions made, and then as well as what if we had numerous touchdowns that were terribly timed play calls that players just made right. I think you have to I don't just make that assessment. I think it'd be incredibly irresponsible if I just went with the results. So I think every time that I call plays, I'm de facto doing so in the light that I think it's the best for the team. I wouldn't be able to. The game is not about me. That's first and foremost. The cost of the television packages to watch the games would be a lot less if people are trying to watch me. So I think that inherently I take the responsibility super serious, and every time that I'm calling a game, it's based upon doing the best for the team. And the second, I wouldn't hesitate to change that procedure because it is my call. I would change it in a heartbeat if I thought somebody else gave the team a better chance to win. So ultimately, you have to ultimately you just have to be fully accountable for every decision you make, knowing that the results could be anyway, and I'm fully accepting of that.
All right, Nick, you saw what he had to say, right? He mentioned a lot of key things in that interview. He obviously said that the game is not about him. He says that he likes to do the play calls and he takes full responsibility for it. He also said that if he had to, he does everything based for the team, and if he had to change procedures, if it gave them an opportunity to be better, eventually he would go ahead and do it. Talk to me, sir. Do you believe any of the shit that he just finished saying?
It's tough for him to let that role go. He's been a play caller pretty much all his entire football career. He started play calling as an intern, or just having NFL experience as an intern since he was, if I'm not mistaken, when he was like 21 or 22, and now he's close to I think he's like 40 now. So he's been in the league, or he's been around people that have a lot of experience in the league for over almost 15 plus years. So when he mentions, hey, I'm a vet, let's keep it real. He's a vet, and he's good at play calling, but he's not good at in-game adjustments or having to understand that there's other things he cannot oversee, and he needs to understand that he needs to delegate. If he's a great play caller, then stick to that and then figure out other areas of room of improvement that he can. He has weaknesses and we clearly see it. The offense is not clicking. But if he can find a way to be fully aware and not be stubborn, to just have everything on him, I mean, it's going to be a long season for us, because right now he doesn't look like he's able to control everything. And I'm hoping he's understanding that. But for you to tell him to stop the role of being a play caller after him doing it for over 10 years, I mean, it's kind of tough.
All right, so here's the issue with me, man, with him. This is the first time he's facing adversity, and he's mentioned it before in the press conference that this is the first time that he's under 500 as the head coach. So I could understand him not wanting to let go of that responsibility because he hasn't had a losing season. He hasn't had a situation. Yes, he's had losing multiple games in a row, but he's always either made the playoffs or at least won 10 games, and it's gotten him where he has. My issue here is we have a coach. I'm not giving up on him. Okay. I'm not going to give up on him, but we have a coach here that just seems very hard headed with some of the, I guess, decisions that he's making on the field. He feels like, based on just that particular moment that we just saw, he feels like he can't do anything wrong. Like he feels like he hasn't done anything wrong. Like he says the best option for the team is for him to make the play calls. Well, did you see the video of Skyler this past weekend? Did you see how Skyler kind of digressed compared to how he performed in previous games? I'm not saying he was great against the Buffalo Bills in that playoff game. I wasn't saying either that he is amazing against the New York Jets when we beat him by a couple, I think it was a couple field goals.
9-6.
But at the end of the day, Skyler's confidence was out the door. Skyler wasn't prepared for that game whatsoever. And you guys know me. You guys know that I'm not the biggest Tua fan, and I criticize Tua. I'm not gonna go out of the limb and just say it's Mike McDaniel's fault. I would have to go and say it's 50-50. I really do feel that Skyler obviously doesn't belong in the NFL. He made a mistake. He hasn't gotten better. I don't know if he just got rattled by the moment or whatnot, but I have to give blame to Skyler, because if you look at other people who have broken down the film, there was a lot of opportunity for Skyler. There was a lot of, hey, there's a guy open, throw the football. He was just very hesitant. So the play calling, which Mike McDaniel has done, is always been pretty good. And when you look at him and compare it to what Brian Flores used to put when he had the two offensive coordinators, it's hundreds of thousands of times better than what those guys did. But the issue is, and I've heard it in different shows, is that Mike McDaniel is just a play caller, and that's hurting the Miami Dolphins. He's not a leader. There's more to just being a coach than just play calling. You have to be able to lead a bunch of men and make them better, have them more confident with what they're doing, making the right coaching decisions. You're no longer just a play caller. You're a guy who's leading a group of men in multiple aspects of your role now. You have to be able to make quick decisions. You have to be able to teach your guys. If your players are not delivering on the field, that falls on you. You're not preparing them to be able to face this adversity. Being unprepared, seeing guys drop football, seeing Skyler look rattled, that is Skyler's fault, but that also falls on him. He needs to change that. He is the leader at the end of the day. He is the person that all these guys are looking up to and expect to lead them to a victory. And you don't see that. I don't see that from him. And I'm a big Mike McDaniel fan, man. I just don't see it anymore. Nick?
Um, Look, we've talked about this before. We have a fan base that's very hungry right now. We want to see success. It's been a long time. We don't want to hear the word be patient or the word reset again. We've been building this for over 3 years, ever since Tank for Tua. And for us to now be in week 4, 1-2, it's very tough. And a lot of fans right now are losing hope. But we just got to take it 1 week at a time, man. I just, like you said, I'm picking back on you. I'm hoping that he realizes that he's a leader. He's not a follower. He's a leader. You lead, and he's going to lead you to the promised land. But in order for you to lead that way, in order for you to lead, you need to know what are your coaches, what are your, personnel that can maximize this area of the football team, maximize that area of the football team. The same way that he does with Anthony Weaver when he's like, or when Vic Fangio was here. Hey, you work on the defense, you work on the defense. Same thing, do it with Frank Smith. What the hell does Frank Smith do in this team? What does he do? Like, at the end of the day, we need to realize McDaniel needs to realize that, yeah, he's a very intelligent man, but intelligence can sometimes be a little bit, I guess, stubborn and hard-headed, And so sometimes being a little bit too intelligent on your play calling, or what they call mastermind of plays, I mean, it's not working. And if it was masterful, then we would be winning games right now. And right now, this whole dilemma of, quarterbacks not knowing the playbook too well, so he needs to dumb it down. Well, I don't know how much he needs to dumb it down, because every other team has been finding ways to beat him, and I'm just hoping that he understands that he's just one guy, and he needs to understand that you need to delegate. You need to maximize your offensive coordinator. If we got Frank Ocean just to be a supporting cast, then what the hell was the hope?
Frank Smith.
Yeah, Frank Smith. Like, what's the whole point of having him? And so the reason I believe Skylar Thompson also performed so poorly is because he didn't really make any adjustments. I think he just rolled with the playbook he had with Tua, and he was like, yo, I believe in this guy. This guy can work out. And clearly it did not work out. The guy had clear paths. Not clear. Let's be real. The NFL is very hard to play. But he does not have anticipatory skills, and he's not a really accurate quarterback. So if you know that that's him, especially that you've been with this guy for 3 years, why don't you work around the things that he's good at, and use the run game, and trust your ideas from your offensive coordinator. I'm just curious on how those conversations are, like there was a moment where we ran 2 run plays, we covered 28 yards on the ground, and then the next 3 plays we're throwing. Like, you're trying to be unpredictable, but it's not working. It's not working. Your offense can move the ball. We know that, and we see that. But the thing is, when are you going to find out that when you have to stick to one game plan, you stick to that one game plan? I'll never forget when Bill Belichick knew he had no QB, and he was going against the Buffalo Bills in that super snowy day, because it was impossible to throw the ball. So he only threw the ball 3 times, and he ran over 30 times, and they still won. Why can't Mike McDaniel make those type of decisions, right? And I might be wrong. Maybe people are be like, Nick, you're smoking crack, whatever. Hey, that's on you guys. But please, you have to understand my perspective. I feel like McDaniel still is a guy who can lead us to the promised land. But unfortunately, right now, he's kind of, I guess, being his own, I guess, worst enemy in kind of a sense. And I'm hoping Chris Greer is able to realize, hey, let me talk down. Let me have a one-on-one with him, and kind of, be like, okay, what's going on? How are you? Because obviously Chris Greer is also a type of guy who's in a manager role, and he needs to also oversee, hey, what's my head coach doing? What are the pros and cons of his approach, and what can we do better? What type of developmental plan can we do in order to change these things? Because right now what we're doing is not working.
Yeah, I mean, you point out a lot of good points, and the issue here with Mike McDaniel too is we start questioning, not only his in-game adjustments, but some of the decisions that he's doing, which just makes no sense. Like, okay, you Skyler gets destroyed, so he's hurt. You put in Boyle in, and then all of a sudden you go for it on fourth down, and I think this was like his second or third play of the game, and he had not even thrown the football. Like, are you trying to do like the act of surprise using Tim Boyle? Like, that's not a
Just
very
stick,
good,
just stick to
not a
your
very good
talent.
decision.
Just
It's not
stick
a
to your
very good
talented
decision.
players, bro. If you have Tyreek Hill, keep throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill. He'll make a play. Keep throwing it to Jalen Waddle. Why is it there? Why is there plays for Durham Smite? The guy hasn't even played at all. Or throwing it to Chosen, or throwing it to DeBow, or Grants DeBow, or whatever that guy's name is. Why, bro? Use the guys that you are using right now, who are healthy, that you made extensions for, and that can create impactful one or two plays. We see it. We've seen it for a couple of years now. Just stick to that, bro. Stick to that.
Yeah, and I was watching. If you guys tune into some of the other podcasts, Dougie had the film breakdown. The
Shout
play
out to
where Skyler had the Hail Mary right before halftime. Dougie points out a very good thing that I noticed as well, and it's the fact that when he hikes the ball, everybody's covering deep because you're assuming it's Hail Mary to the end zone because there was no time left. The first thing Skyler does, and again, it's because that's the play call that's being called, is he goes and turns around and he acts like he's gonna pitch it. Who the hell is gonna think that
fall for that.
yeah, why are you doing that on the last play of the game, on the last play of the half, and there's no time left? Like, that's a waste of time. That's like 2 seconds, a second that who are you trying to fool? You're not fooling anybody. And then number two is the play call that he uses is he uses both wideouts and they go out. You don't even have
I
somebody who
saw that.
goes, you don't even see somebody that goes all the way to the end zone. At
Not at
least
all, bro.
why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you just at least have one guy? If you want to do one out with one of them, okay, fine. But at least have another guy go out there. I mean, I don't have to be a brain scientist. I would have just stuck 4 or 5 guys out there and just tell them to go deep and just throw the football. And
Yeah,
and
put three of them on one side, put another wide out on the other side, and just have them just go straight ahead. That's it.
yeah, and just go. Like,
Why is that so hard? But that's where I feel like Mike McDaniel. I don't know, man. There's just something that we're not knowing that maybe it's happening behind the scenes. But
now you mentioned something, and you've mentioned it to me more than once, is that we shouldn't give up on, or you haven't given up on Mike McDaniel.
no,
And why is that, sir? Why have you not given up on Mike McDaniel? You've mentioned
I'm
it to me multiple times.
I'm not. I don't know if you know the listeners and the viewers out there. I don't know if you guys know, but that Shanahan tree. There was one year where it was. I think it was the Washington at the time Redskins, but now they're the Commanders, and they had a hell of a coaching tree. They had Matt LaFleur. They had the guy from the Rams. I forgot his name right now. They had Mike McDaniel. They had Kyle Shanahan. They had all these guys who have had such great years with their independent teams that gave them opportunities to be a head coach, and it's hard for me to digest that Mike McDaniel is the ugly duckling out of them, like the outlier, like and not in a good way. Sean McVay, there you go, perfect, thank you, no doubt. So all these coaches that have been in that same tree, you're telling me out of those 5 coaches or 4, you're telling me we got the wrong one? Like that's so hard for me to understand. They all go through the same fucking, and sorry for the cursing, but the same fucking plan, dude. They all have the same plan. And you're telling me we got the wrong one again? Like, come on, dude. I can't accept that. Not yet. Let's give McDaniel maybe 1 or 2 more years. Hey, man, it's not his fault that he got slapped with Tua. Sean McVay did it with Jared Goff, but look, Jared Goff went almost to the Super Bowl with the Detroit Lions. So then Jared Goff is not a bad QB. And then he got Matthew Stafford, and then he went to the Super Bowl. And then you got Matt LaFleur with Aaron Rodgers, who is is a 2-time MVP, who's also been like, all right, cool. And he's been working it out. And now he's making it work with Malik Willis while Jordan Love is out on the IR. Like, how is this? And then Kyle Shanahan with first with Jimmy G, okay. Then with now Brock Purdy, Like, like, come on, dude. Like, and you're telling me that Mike McDaniel can't develop an offense that can lead the same success as these other coaches? Like, it's just hard for me. I'm not trying to say that Tua's not it, but I'm trying to say that Tua's not it, bro. I think we need to find another QB that can help Mike McDaniel. Look at Mike McDaniel when they with the Atlanta Falcons when he was part of the 2016 Super Bowl run with Matt Ryan, which is another good QB. So it's like it's hard for me to digest that Mike McDaniel's a bad coach, in my opinion.
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. You say a lot of points that I mean I can't argue with you, and you're right. It will be shocking for us to just say it's that type of luck that the Miami Dolphins have that we picked the wrong coach, and it's the only guy who actually doesn't succeed. But what happens a lot, Nick, is the fact that Mike McDaniel hasn't proven in the past 3 years that he's able to run an offense that is able to be ran by another quarterback besides Tua. You know, it looks like they took a shortcut on the offensive line. It looks like their whole offensive scheme is on precision passing and making sure that the ball goes out of the quarterback's hand very, very quickly. That way he doesn't get sacked. You're telling me that, you know, there's these quarterbacks, these other guys, if this is the rule of thumb, especially Skyler that's been with the team for 3 years now, he can't grasp it. He's been doing this the past 3 years. So it's really not like he hasn't done anything to show us any proof that this type of, I guess, offensive style is meant to work with anybody. It just seems like it's only meant to work with a quarterback that's able to get rid of the football very quickly, and that's it. And that's why, in my opinion, I agree with you. I haven't given up on Mike McDaniel. And I'm going to tell you, the reason I say that is because, yes, you guys know I'm not a Tua lover. You guys know that. But there is a very good point that my brother does say. Number one, he hasn't been given an opportunity with another quarterback besides Skyler. Let's give it Skyler and Teddy Bridgewater. And those two are not, there's a reason why they perform the way they perform. They're not starting quarterback QBs. Let's just keep it real. Are our hopes going to be high for Tyler Huntley and for Tim Boyle? Of course not. Tyler
Well, you
Huntley
never know. Remember, Tyler Huntley gives me RJ3 vibes, and he did say that he has plays from the past using that RG3 scheme. So we can't say that Tyler Huntley won't work.
Nick, there's a reason why Tyler Huntley was on the practice squad and he wasn't on the Baltimore Ravens as the second QB. There's a reason why, man. I'm sorry. It's just, this is the problem. I know we don't want to be a negative Nancy here, but we got to keep it real. There's a reason why he was in the practice squad. Like, if they thought that he was very, very talented, he would have been on the team. He would have been in the Baltimore Raven. He would have been the secondary quarterback for them.
So who's the second behind Lamar then?
I don't know. You would have to look that up. I'm not too sure. But while you're looking that up, how can my expectations be like, yo, that guy's going to do something? Because at the end of the day, he comes from the practice squad. The only thing I could think of, and I told you this, the only thing I could think of when it comes to this is that because he's a South Florida guy, maybe he gets motivated and be like, yo, I need to prove myself. I want to prove myself because I'm a longtime Dolphin fan. Or maybe he's like, yo, I'm in my hometown, so I got to prove myself that I could be really, really good. And it'll be really cool for me to be able to keep playing here in South Florida and just end my career in South Florida. Maybe that will motivate him to be productive. I mean, guy.
That's what we said about Mike White, bro.
Correct. But then again, look what they did. They chose a Skyler over Mike White. They chose a quarterback that what we saw on Sunday was a disgrace. It was sad. So
the Ravens got a guy named Josh Johnson. I'm not too familiar with that guy. 38-year-old 10-year vet. That's who they got.
Okay, so think about it, Nick. think about it. Josh Johnson, a 30-year-old vet, beat out Tyler Huntley to be the backup QB to Lamar Jackson. Explain to me what expectations as a Miami Dolphin fan should have on Tyler Huntley. I just, what can you think? Like, there's like, the only hope I have is that the Tennessee Titans are so trash that we're able to beat them. And I'm gonna tell you something. The only bright spot, if the Dolphins win on Monday, it's only gonna be for one reason and one reason only. I don't believe on the offense. Screw the offense. The offense sucks. And if when they run the football, they run it and then they stop. So I don't believe on the offense. It's the defense. And the defense not only do they have to cause turnovers, but they have to score with their turnovers. Because if the defense would have gotten those 2 turnovers and taken it to the house, we would have been in a game. That's the only way that. So if we want to beat Tennessee, the only way we're going to beat it is by the defense actually going ahead and creating turnovers and actually scoring on the turnovers. Because if you give the ball to the offense, get ready, man. They're going to suck. They're not going to finish.
Yeah,
because
it's
the
tough.
Miami Dolphins just don't have a quarterback competent enough to go ahead and run simple plays and get them done. And I get the vibe like the team is like they freeze up. They freeze up when Tua's not back there. Like, dude, like,
And
come
Tua
on,
traveled
dude.
with the team. Tua traveled with the team. Tua was on the breakdown film with Skyler. So Tua's trying to be as engaging as he can while he's off the field. But
Well, look, Tyler Huntley, I think he's gonna start. Rumors are that he's gonna be the one who's actually gonna start. But I'm gonna show you, he does have abilities to do and scramble, which is what he's well known for. And I'll share this video for you guys. This is part of Joe Shad. And here he is going ahead and scrambling for Baltimore. And he brings that to the table. So maybe
Hey.
that's one thing that he could possibly do.
Sure.
And look at that, he even slide, unlike
So we
Tua.
got Mike. We got Michael Vick, baby. We got Michael Vick, baby.
Like those, and then look at that. There was even a flag on that play. But that's the only hope that we have. Oh, and they actually called the personal foul as well in Cleveland in that play. But that's the only option besides that. And I guess the fact that, hey, look, throw out a Hail Mary out there and be like, okay, screw it, bro. Throw that Hail Mary and see if Tyreek Hill can beat his cover, and you get a long touchdown. Kind of like, dude, you know what Tyler Huntley reminds me of, man? He reminds me of Teddy Bridgewater, just a better version of him. And look how that turned out. Teddy Bridgewater sucked.
He reminds me of a Tyrod Taylor.
I think Tyrod Taylor has more. His vision on the field is better than Tyler Huntley, in my opinion. I get that more from Tyrod Taylor, even though Tyrod Taylor would have been a really good backup for us, because I think Tyrod Taylor, what works for Tyrod Taylor is that he could read the field. We obviously see that Skyler can't do it, and we obviously see that I don't know if Tyler Huntley is going to be able to do it because he didn't even make the squad for the Baltimore Ravens. No doubt says the only hope is Huntley can escape the pocket, extend plays, and complete passes on the scramble. Yeah, it's the only thing that he has.
But
if
you think about it, Tyler Huntley's not gonna finish the season. Tua Tagovailoa is gonna be the one finishing the season. So we can't think about, oh, is Tyler Huntley gonna be our savior? Maybe he will for the next couple of games. Look at Sam Darnold. The guy's balling right now over there in the Vikings. We just need a guy who can really just help us win 1 or 2 games. And clearly the backups that we've gotten in the past, the Jacoby Brissett's, the Teddy Two Gloves, the Mike Whites, the Skylar Thompsons, it hasn't worked out. So we're hoping that this guy Huntley and Tim Boyle can do something that a lot of the backups haven't been able to do whenever Tua goes down, and it's win games. And it's just the truth.
Let me ask you something, man. The protocol, Tua Tagovailoa flew to the Seattle game, right?
Correct, yes.
Obviously, protocol is, it's a good image for the Dolphins not to play him right away because, the guy just got out of the concussion and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that the Dolphins should have just scrapped that and said, screw it? If he gets cleared by the medical doctors, let him be out there. Do you think that they should have done that? Like they should have been like, screw it, let him go out there if he feels like he's able to and he's cleared, let him play? Or do you feel, or did you like their approach of going ahead and saying, no, we're not gonna, even if he's good, even if he's capable of playing, we're gonna sit him out for 4 games, put him on IR because it wouldn't look good for the NFL or for the, well, not the NFL, but the Miami Dolphins organization to have a player who just suffered a pretty bad concussion and then put him back out there the next week?
Well, first, I mean, at the end of the day, football is a sport. After football, it's a different chapter in life. And I think from a humane perspective, the Dolphins don't want to have that story like, oh, this guy is having brain damage, and I think this is also kind of a punishment for Tua. Like, we told you, stop doing this, stop being a boneheaded quarterback trying to prove that you got it. Like, hey, know that if you are very sensitive when it comes to impacts to your head, then just throw away the ball. And if you feel like you're gonna be able to get the first down on your feet, but you slide and it was a couple of inches off, hey, so be it. But still, you get to live another play. And I think the Dolphins finally realized, look, Tua, last time we gave you the shot and you look what happened. You started giving us the fingers, and now this is kind of like a small punishment. Like, yo, look, this is what you did. And now you are going to you're gonna, I don't want to sound like a child or anything, but they put him on timeout, bro. And they're also trying to help them realize, yo, you gotta stop being hard-headed. Just as much as we talk about Mike McDaniel being hard-headed, we also gotta let Tua know, hey man, you're a great football player, but your body just cannot withstand those impacts over and over and over. And if they need to put a guardian cap on him, so be it, bro. It is what it is.
If I was Chris Greer, and my job was on the line. And my job was on the line because I think by him putting him on the IR as a caution, I think this solidifies that I don't think they're in any shape or form thinking that if the Dolphins don't succeed this year, that they're gonna be fired. I honestly feel that Chris Greer feels, hey, look, my job is still secure for at least this season. Because if his job was on the line, and I was Chris Greer, I would have been like, yo, did the medical doctors clear him? Yes. Does that guy want to go out there and play? Yes. Put him out there because my job is on the line. And I understand that I need to, I'm humane, right? I'm human too. I have family, I have kids and all that stuff, but you also can't put somebody's career in your hands. And if this guy wants to be hard-headed and go out there and play and you follow all the proper protocols and it goes through, you put him out there. You give me the best chance to win. Screw it. I'm going to put you out there. And if that means that he gets hit again and it costs us the whole season, then so be it. But at least I went down swinging than just going ahead and letting them fire me. I think by them putting him on IR, it solidifies that Chris Greer is going to stick around for another year because he is okay with the Dolphins not winning a single game. Because right now, Mike McDaniel hasn't proved that he could win a game without Tua. I mean, I know, Skyler won that game against the Jets, but
let's see the record without Tua.
I think at the end of the day, the issue here is Chris Greer is going to stick around for another year. I think if the Dolphins suck this year, they're all going to bring it back and they're going to try to wing it one more time next year and see what happens. I think that's what they're going to do.
Sorry to interrupt. The record, there's been 15 occasions that we played without Tua, and our record all time is 5-10. 5 wins and 10 losses.
Damn, I wish I could see what were those 5 wins, because I know one of them was with Skyler with the Jets. So then what would be the other 4?
I know that we beat the Texans with Jacoby. That's 2.
You want to know what was the sad part, Nick, about this past Sunday? Seattle sucks. They're not a good team.
Seattle's not that great.
They're not a good team, man. If you look at the film breakdown, this team really, really should have beaten this team. Like the Dolphins should have beaten Seattle. And it's it's mind blowing how bad our offense was that we couldn't even score. Like it was so bad. No doubt says, does it include Fitzmagic? I think that's the only other guy that probably won a match without without Tua playing out there. It has to be with Fitz because
Yeah, so in 2020, between the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is the year that he got drafted, they won without Tua. Then Fitzmagic won again with San Francisco, which is without Tua. And then apparently we beat the Jets also with Fitz in 2020. But let's say the 2021 season, it's only been Houston and the Jets. So if you take away that 2020 year, his rookie year, let's say the 3 years that he's been just a solidified starter, if I'm not mistaken, they've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They've played 9 games, and out of those 9 games, they've only won 2. So they're 2-7 without Tua
and
when he's
and that would and that would also be under Mike McDaniel's regimen, right?
correct. That's
Yeah,
under Mike McDaniel because without Tua, when with Brian Flores, it
that's when
was
Fitz won.
it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games that they won. I mean that they've played, and they went 3-3 with Brian Flores when they didn't have Tua. But when they had Tua, when Mike McDaniel was with as the coach, and they had Tua as the number one, they played 9 games without him, and they went 2-7. And the 2 games they won was November 7th against the Houston Texans. They won 17-9 with Jacoby, and then in 2023, January 8th, 2023, is the second game they won, which they won 11-6 against the New York Jets with Skylar Thompson.
Wow. Just reading me that record of 3-3 for Brian Flores really puts a damper on what I think on Mike McDaniel, because we all criticize Brian Flores, and Brian Flores, even with having clumsy offensive coordinators, and he still found a way to beat 500. While Mike McDaniel, who's supposed to be this girl, can't even hasn't even won 3 games. I mean, he's only won 2. Man, it's scary, bro. It's scary. And the more, look, man, I don't want to give up on Mike. I really don't, because I don't like turning around and just going ahead and say, hey, let's change another coach, give another coach, because another third year coach, and like No Doubt has says, hey, we just gave Mike McDaniel an extension. That's a lot of money and
Well,
all that
look
stuff.
at No Doubt. No Doubt says if Fitzmagic was a legit good QB, backup QB, and during that season he was playing pretty well, so you can't knock out on Fitzmagic. And that's what I was trying to say. If we have a Fitzmagic type of QB that can back up Tua when he's out, look at the record, how it changes.
Yeah, but here's the issue, Nick. Who is the person making the decision as to who should back up Tua? The coach. He's the one who's making the decision who should be the backup quarterback. And he picked Skyler over Mike White. And again, Mike White is not like the best either. Those are your options. Those are your two guys.
You don't think Eric Bevel and Frank Smith are not talking to Mike McDaniel saying, hey, look, yeah, man, he's ready, bro. He's ready. He's good.
I don't know.
It's a chain effect, bro, because it's not just only Mike McDaniel. We also have Frank Smith looking at him. We're also looking at
the problem is, Nick, is that the problem is, Nick, is that we said it earlier. What the hell does Frank Smith do out there? And he ain't done shit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mike McDaniel doesn't even go to them for their opinion. I don't know what they do. I mean, Bevel's obviously the O-line coach, which is fine. But
no, Bevel's not the O-line. That's Butch Berry. Bevel's the
sorry, Butch Berry. You're right. But when it comes to Frank Smith, I don't even think he even asked for his opinion. I think Frank Smith is like a statue. He's just there just to be there, and that's it. He doesn't do anything else, and it sucks. That's the vibe I'm getting from Mike McDaniel when it comes to the offense. I think the guy just doesn't ask for anybody's opinion, and it's his way or the highway. Remember what he said in that press conference. If I felt that anybody else can bring something to the table and make the Dolphins offense better, I would immediately change it. So those words are telling me that Frank Smith, you're a piece of shit. You can't even call a play, because what I'm calling is 20,000 times better than what he would call. And look at the product that we have on the field right now as we speak.
Well, it hasn't worked out, bro. Unfortunately,
it's bad. All right, sir. Talk to me, man. What do you think is going to happen this Monday? Do you see the Dolphins beating the Tennessee Titans? Oh, and it's an early game. It's at 7 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to haul ass.
I'm gonna be on the airplane, so best believe I'm gonna be paying that Wi-Fi package. But man, this is tough because even though Will Levis and company in Tennessee over there, the last game that Will Levis actually had a pretty decent game was against the Miami Dolphins. I don't know if you know, but Will Levis hasn't won in 5 games. He lost the last two games of the season last year, and then he has gone 3 straight L's this season. So he's 0-5 right now. Will Levis he's been a turnover machine. Let's keep it real. Right now, their O line doesn't look in sync. Their right tackle is not performing. He's performing poorly. They're literally ranked the 32nd ranked NFL team right now, based off on like just overall what they are. But money line or bet line is only giving the Dolphins a 1 point favor.
I'm
So-
actually surprised that they're favorite.
Yeah, because Tennessee Titans is the worst team in the NFL. So it's insane that they don't even have it like at a 6 or a 3. You know, they have it as a 1. So
They're the
they
worst
feel
team.
like Miami's not far behind either, which is crazy.
They're the worst team in the NFL, but yet the Miami Dolphins are the only team in the NFL this year that has not held a lead for more than 1 second.
Look, do I believe the Dolphins can come in on Monday Night Football and handle business? Of course they can. They still got Tyreek Hill. They still got Jalen Waddle. They still got Chain. They still got Jalen Wright. Hopefully Mostert can come in and do some damage. Our defensive players, Calais Campbell, Zach Sealer, Jalen Ramsey, Javon Holland. We still have a complete team. It's not Jalen Phillips. It's not like it's the end of the world. It all depends, literally, like you said, it all depends on how good the defense can play. Because at the end of the day, I don't expect much from this offense. I think, what's up, brother? I think right now the offense just needs to stick with the run, keep it clean, and I think this is going to be a really ugly game. I say the Dolphins win 17-10.
Okay. You say 17-10. All right, I'm gonna write that down. All right.
And the only reason why is because Will Levis is gonna find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, I get you. I also feel like the Miami Dolphin offense will find a way not to score, and that's why we lose as well. Look, I said the main reason or the main way Miami can win this game is if the defense can create turnovers and can score. You are at home, so whether Skyler's gonna play or whether it's Tyler Huntley or whether it's Boyle, obviously it's not gonna be as loud as when it was in Seattle. So that's gonna favor the quarterback, whoever of the three decides to play. Secondly, I do feel the Dolphins are gonna put pressure on Will. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're going to create turnovers. And I think that's why the Dolphins will be able to have momentum on their side. And I think playing at home and having that momentum will work for them. I have the Dolphins winning. I just can't see the Dolphins losing to such a crappy team like the Tennessee Titans, even though Seattle is not that far behind. But, at least Seattle won 2 games. I just can't, and they were playing at home, so Seattle was playing at home, so I can understand the 12th man and all that stuff favoring them. It rattled Skyler as well. Let's keep it real. Being at home, the crowd, I don't know how many people are going to be out there. I don't know if it's going to be sold out. I saw tickets have drastically gone down. They're selling tickets now for like $20, $30 in the 300 section. So if you guys want to catch
Looking like a preseason game out there, bro.
If you want to catch a Dolphin game, right now is the perfect time. I feel that the Dolphins will win, but I feel like it's going to be a very, very boring game. I think it's going to be a field goal game, and I'm going to say the Dolphins win 12-6. I say the Dolphins kick.
You hear that, folks? You put Sanders on the over when it comes to the field goal points. Go ham on that.
Yeah, I feel the Dolphins are gonna win 12-6. I think he'll kick 4 field goals, and I think the Tennessee Titans will kick 2, and I think the Dolphins win 12-6. That's the thing I'm thinking of. Uh, no doubt says, "Hey Chad, you're surviving." I know, Chad, bro. Chad is also hurting. All of us Dolphin fans are hurting, man. It's never easy to see our team suffer this bad, but let's jump to a different type of team, right? And unfortunately, for some of you guys, of course, you guys are going to be happy because, of course, you guys are Canes fans. But me and my brother do have a reason to be happy, and that's the fact that both our Florida teams won. So let's go through scores this past weekend of all the Florida teams, right? And I really like this site because this site only focuses on Florida team. So let's go one by one. We had West Alabama versus West Florida Pensacola. Jesus Christ. And in overtime, West Alabama beat West Florida in Pensacola, Florida. We're shout out to Pensacola though. Again, guys, be careful out there. And I didn't even know that the Argonauts they even have a team out there. I had no idea. Nick, next time we go to Pensacola, remember our sister stays out there. We need to go visit them and go check out a West Florida Argonauts game, bro. I'm pretty sure it's like $5-10 to go check that team out.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely, man. We should go check it
I had
out.
no idea that they were playing out there. The next game we had was Florida A&M, the Rattlers over there in Tallahassee, going 1-on-1 against Troy, and Troy destroyed them. Florida Atlantic wasn't playing against FIU this weekend. They were playing a way more better team in UConn. They lost 48-14. Florida State finally picking up their first win of the season. They beat Cal. The University of Miami destroying the South Florida Bulls 50-15. They keep running it. They're still a very, very, very strong team. I don't know who this team is, but Lake Wales, Florida, the Warners against the Shorters that are in Georgia, and they lost 47-25. FIU in a shootout out there, unfortunately, lost.
Dude,
45.
They were up 28-7 in the first quarter. You're telling me they brought these guys got caught back on FIU and FIU choked? That's crazy, bro.
You gotta love FIU, bro. You got Bethune against Clark Atlantic, but this game is from last week. So this game, I think this was I don't think they played this game. I think this is the same, or maybe I'm confused because I swear to God I thought I saw Clark Atlantic against Bethune last year. I think this was the old game. Dayton went against Ave Maria, 49-7. They lost. Stetson lost 35-0 to Harvard. Wow. They lost to Harvard. And of course, the upset of the week as well, Florida. The first week I choose Florida to go ahead and lose in the betting odds, and to my luck, they win. So yeah, not good time for betting for Florida. But I'm happy that they won. Happy that they did win. At least that gives them 2 wins this season. Florida State got 1 win. But let's talk about, of course, what all you guys want to talk about, and that is the University of Miami. So, Nick, talk to me, bro. Let's bring this on here. This is what I wanted to bring. This is what I wanted to talk about with you, sir. So let's see what is going on. I know that Ave Maria plays football. Yeah, I guess so. Fellas, bet on the U. All right, so here we go. First game. First game, they beat Florida 41-17. Second game, they played the Rattlers. They beat them 56-9. Boise State, I believe that was who they went against. I think it was Boise State. I don't remember that team. The third one, 62-7. Was that Boise State? No, it was
Ball State.
Ball State. That's what Ball State. And then of course they beat USF 50-15. All right, sir. September 27th, we got Virginia Tech, but they're playing at Miami. Do you see the University of Miami losing against Virginia Tech?
No, I don't. I'm continuing this U train. I don't see them losing, but I do see this game being very close. As this is where I believe the U now are gonna face their tougher side of their schedule. And this is where we're gonna find out if Cam Ward and company are really legit. I see them taking care of business, but this is where the journey starts getting a little bit harder. What about
Taking
you?
care of business every day. Taking care of business. Well, sir, look, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I don't think the University of Miami is gonna have any trouble with Virginia Tech. I hope they do. I hope they have issues with Virginia Tech, but I don't see it happening, man. I will say this. My only hope for the University of Miami to struggle was was against Cal, and then obviously the Florida State just beat them. So I'm a little bit disappointed that that's what happened. Now I'm looking at the University of Miami. I'm trying to pull it up. The University of Miami versus Virginia Tech when it comes to all-time record, right? Like I want to see what they've done because I want to see if Virginia Tech how these games have run. And the last game that they played, right? Hold on a second. I'm pulling it up as we
Cam
speak.
Ward has thrown 14 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That guy's balling, bro. Balling. That if that guy was in Florida State would be ranked number 1 right now, bro.
Okay, so let me share this with you guys. Let me share this with you guys. I want you to see
Syracuse
the
is scary, sir. That is true, no doubt. I did watch that Syracuse Georgia Tech game. That was a very interesting upset.
I'm on.
Syracuse is a under the radar team.
So here are the last couple meetings between Virginia Tech and Miami. Miami leads the series 25-15. Back in 2022, they played in Virginia and they beat them 20-14. In 21, they beat Virginia Tech 38-26. In 2020, they beat Miami one again, 25-24. And the last time Virginia Tech beat Miami was back on October 5th, 2019, 42-35. Here's my issue. Looking at this statistic, these results, Nick, I don't see Miami losing to Virginia Tech. I think Miami's going to beat them.
But if you look at the last 3 games, they've been pretty close.
So, like what you said, it is going to be a close game. I just don't feel like they have enough to beat them.
Can you scroll up a little bit?
To where?
Let me see.
See, back in the early 2000s, Virginia Tech was dominating.
Because I went to one of these games when it was in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude. I was in 8th grade. 8th grade? That was in 2008. 2008. It was that game.
2009.
It was that game.
31-7?
Nah, it was that was in Virginia. No.
No, oh yeah, you're right. This one 31-17? 2010?
No,
then,
the 16-14. I went to that game.
And Miami won?
And Miami won.
God damn it. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's why I look at that stat and I don't see Miami, losing to Virginia Tech. So I have Miami beating Virginia Tech.
Yeah, 100%. Miami's dominating right now, bro. Miami's playing really good football, bro. You gotta give them credit, bro.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna say that they are not playing good football, especially after they took it to South Florida. I thought South Florida has been their toughest competition that they've faced. But if I have to look at their schedule, and I'm looking at it right here, right, I don't see them having any issue with Virginia Tech. They'll be Virginia Tech. This Cal game, again, I want to circle on it because I feel like even though they lost to Florida State, they did only lose, I think it was like 14-7. So it's like it wasn't a blowout. And were they playing at Florida State or were they playing at Cal?
They were playing Florida State.
Okay, so that obviously that favored Florida State that they were playing against. They were playing at home. So this is a road game for the University of Miami. I still think this Cal team is going to be a tough cookie. And keep in mind, I wouldn't be surprised if is underestimating them because look who they got next afterwards. They got that Louisville game afterwards, and that's they're 15 ranked right now. So I think they could that's why that Cal game can be kind of scary and kind of tricky because they can oversee a Cal and be like, oh, we gotta take care of business in Louisville, but then it could be kind of like a hey, it's a scare. So that Cal game is the one I'm circling where I think maybe might run into some trouble. That's the only game that I see. Obviously, Louisville is gonna be the other one. And then you did say there are some tough games afterward. They got Florida State, they got Duke. They always Duke, Georgia Tech, and Syracuse are not gonna be, you know, easy games for them. They're not. And it is gonna test Cam Ward. And I will say this as well. I want to see how Cam Ward does against a team that they're like it's a 3-point game or Miami's down by 7 because he hasn't faced that adversity while he's been at UM. And I also want to know what Mario Cristobal would be doing. Like what play calls would he be calling? How is he going to react? Remember, Mario Cristobal is known for doing some stupid plays and making dumb mistakes when the game is on the line. They haven't faced that. Look at the scores that are posted. They've been blowing out everybody. So the moment they face adversity, I want to see how this UM. That's why I don't want to jump the gun and say, look, UM is a heavy hitter. UM deserves to be number 7 in the nation. Not yet, not in my eyes. They need to face some adversity, and that's what they're gonna run into the next couple of weeks when they have to go against Virginia Tech. Maybe not Virginia Tech, but at least Cal and that Louisville game. And then again, Virginia Tech could make it a ball game. I just want to see if Cal and Virginia Tech or Louisville, if any of those 3 teams make it a close game for the University of Miami, and Cam Ward steps it up and he's able to just beat them either by taking a game-winning drive or something like that, then I'm going to go ahead and give kudos to the University of Miami. I'll go ahead and be like, you know what? You guys deserve it. Congratulations. University of Miami, props to you guys. In the meantime, I'm not because they haven't faced any adversity. They're a solid team, but they're a solid team because they've been playing, I'm sorry, mediocre talent, bro. Mediocre talent. Let's see what somebody.
To give you the recap, Virginia Tech is 2-2. Cal is 3-1. Louisville is 3-0. Florida State is 1-3. Duke is 4-0. Georgia Tech is 3-2. Wake Forest is 1-2, and Syracuse is 2-1. So if you kind of look at it right now, the toughest opponents between Duke and Louisville. If you kind of look at it, those are the 2 strongest teams right now.
Yeah. And look who's back. No P is back. What's up, bro? Welcome, No P. I'm not gonna say your whole name. I know last time you asked me to say your whole name, and I'm not gonna say your whole name, No P. Just letting you know.
I wanna piss on you. Drip, drip, drip.
And then of course, No Doubt says it was in Tallahassee. Cal has a worse offense than FSU does. Cal is toast. It could be it. I mean, No Doubt the only thing that I have going for Cal is that they're playing at home. When you're playing at home, it could be tricky. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I think of.
Especially that it's a big travel too, from like Miami all the way to California. That's also that affects because look, you go from Miami to Cal, then from Cal you go all the way to Louisville, and then Louisville you come back to Miami. So it's like, there's a lot of traveling, so it can affect them.
I mean, there is a week in between because if you look at it, it's October 5th and then October 19th. So they have a week in between to rest. So that, I mean, I guess UM, again, got another freebie there by going ahead and getting a week in between.
Freebie, baby, freebie.
Why am I not surprised? But again, the only reason I think that Cal could be dangerous is because they might be looking ahead and be like, yo, that our true test is going to be against Louisville. And maybe they sleep on Cal, and Cal might give them a run for their money. So that's the only reason why I'm circling that Cal game. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that Cal proves me right, and they do give them a run for their money and they beat them.
You know what? I hope UM wins, man. I hope UM wins because then this solidifies less of the whole curse thing with the whole Dolphin Hard Rock Stadium thing. Maybe having UM win a championship debunks that, and then that energy goes to the Dolphins. Fuck it. If I have to root for UM for the Dolphins to win, so be it, bro. That's how Delulu am right now.
Alex goes and says, "Hey Frankie, who's the best college team in the state of Florida?" Unfortunately, it is the University of Miami. But
This year is the University of Miami. Last year,
but Alex, I'm gonna say one thing, man. You haven't faced adversity, and that's where I say, let's wait and see how they run it when it comes to adversity. That's my point on that. Once they face adversity, then I'll be like, I'll give them more of kudos for them. Unfortunately, sir. Fortunately, we have to go ahead and give them kudos because they have won. The name of the game is win, right? So they're doing it. but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're top 17. I think they're overrated. They haven't proven themselves. They're playing against mediocre teams. And that's including the Gators, and I'm a Gator lover. So I have no shame in admitting when Florida is not a good team, and Florida is not a good team. He says, "Let LFG Nick finally no hater juice. Frank, you keep sipping. Look, man. Again, I'm not a hater to the University of Miami. I'm a hater to the fan base. The fan base is what gets me irked, because you guys start getting this narrative that you guys are the best in the country, and that's not the case. You guys have not proven yourself against a good quality team. Let's be real. You faced a Florida team that sucks. And if they won this past week, it was only because they've already had 3 games under their wing. So they've already at least probably had some type of cohesiveness, and they're probably trying to figure it out. But we all knew that Florida was going to have under 500 year. I'm telling you right now. I'll be surprised if they win 7 games, 8 games this year. I'm being honest with you. And when it comes to USF, what do you expect from USF? It's USF. And then the other 2 teams, Ball State and FAM. What are you gonna get from FAM? You guys play FAM every year and you spank them. So it is what it is. They've blown out every team they've played. Point. Said number 7 in the nation. Again, I want to see them face adversity. If they face adversity and they win, then I'll be like, kudos. It's gonna be that Louisville game. Hopefully that Virginia Tech is also a good game, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes when it comes to Miami and their ability to compete against hopefully some quality play. Now, before we jump into soccer, one last thing we wanted to talk about, sir, and it's kind of last minute. I wanted to add it in here because I wanted to go ahead and get your opinion. I know we're cutting it a little bit long. The game. It's not about the Heat. Actually, you know what? We could talk a little bit about the Heat as well. The Miami Heat went ahead and did some renovations. I don't know if you saw that. So that was pretty cool that the Miami Heat have done some renovations. Their new like the middle area is being changed. So now you're gonna have the actual like the Miami Heat. It's like a fireball that's gonna be in the middle. Did you notice that, Nick?
Correct. Yes, they're doing kind of like a fireball in the middle with different type of screening. It looks really cool. The design looks really nice. I think it adds more flavor to the stadium, and I'm excited.
Yeah, man, I think it's gonna be cool. I actually am able to pull this up. So let me show you guys what the Miami Heat did, because at least the Miami Heat is a winning organization in my opinion. I mean, they won the summer league. They always find ways to win. So this is gonna be the new look, which is pretty cool for the Miami Heat. You see the screen, you see the fireball in the Miami Heat in the middle. So that's gonna be cool. It's gonna be very nice to see that, and then they're gonna also add that screen in the middle. So that's it's gonna be a different look for the Miami Heat. I think they are upgrading because I think they want to still kind of keep in pace with the Clippers new arena. You know how they have that ridiculous screen around where everybody can see it. So I think that's why the Miami Heat are doing something different this year and changing it up. I think this is kind of cool. Wait, hold on a second. It says, "Where is Big O so he can give you that famous line, Frankie?" Yeah, whatever. Anyways, so the other thing I wanted to talk about with you, Nick, is the fact, and let me go to my profile here for a second, sir, and let me scroll down, and it's right here. This is what I wanted to show you, sir.
Oh, what a plug in the eye.
So, Caitlin Clark, right? A lot of people were going ahead and talking about it, and I don't remember who was the athlete what's her name? I forgot her name. Who hit her on the eye? Nick, talk to me, man. In your opinion, bro, this play right here, bro, is this intentional or is this not, or is this by accident? In your opinion?
Oh no, man, that's by accident, bro. That ain't no intention.
Are you joking or are you being serious?
No, I'm being serious.
Why do you think that's by accident?
Because she's trying to swipe the ball, and that's why her hand went down, and then the ball got released from her hand quickly because she passes really well. She's averaging about 9 assists a game, and unfortunately, it got caught up in the moment, and that's just part of basketball. I've gotten my eye poked when I play amateur basketball. I mean, it just happens.
All right, I want you to see it. I want you to see something here. Okay, so let me do this. So Caitlin Clark, right, is going ahead. Here is her throwing the basketball, right, and she throws the ball, right, and there it is. And look at her hand. Her hand is completely open, right? She has it wide open, and the ball is already gone. You would have your hand wide open because you're trying to block the ball from going and getting past, right? And then if you look at this, she goes like this. Now, when I go to block somebody, I'm not gonna go ahead and then all of a sudden start going like this with my hand. Not to mention the ball is clearly gone away from her. Not to mention that when that goes straight into the eye, what a coincidence. Look at how direct she was able to get her in that eye. And again, she went from from her palm of her hand going open to this. Now explain that to me. Like if I'm gonna try to block it, I'll go like that. But if you look at it, she does this and it exactly goes straight and then goes like it goes like that.
Play the full clip without pausing it.
She literally goes like this.
Yeah, Frank. But if you play it at real time, it's very hard for you to, because when you're trying to swipe the ball, you're just trying to swipe the ball. That's immediate. That's an immediate action. Um, I don't know how you can think that's intentional. If it was intentional, she would. If you kind of look at it, look at her head. She's tilting up, looking like, oh shit. So when she's like this, she's like, oh damn, and then she just. It's a basketball play, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I love you, bro, but you reaching, bro. You reaching. You reaching, bro. Look at her head. She's tilted. She's like, oh shit. And then it's just an immediate thing.
It's tilted from Caitlin Clark. You're right. Caitlin Clark is like, oh shit, I just got hit in the fucking eye. You're right about that. But am I reaching? No, I don't think I'm reaching. I think she purposely did this to her.
I wish you could play it in full speed and not this slow-mo, because slow-mo it's not gonna do justice for her. It's not. But if you play in real time, I know for sure that was a basketball play, bro. It just happens.
I have the feeling that was intentional, bro. That looks
But
intentional. No doubt does agree with you. He says that's a basketball play. And then Alex says that's some WWE shit. So Alex, I think, agrees with me. No doubt says slow-mo. The ball has barely moved. It happens fast. And then I'm a Caitlyn fan. That ain't dirty. Oh, so a lot of you guys feel that this is not a dirty play. A couple of you might think it is. I think it's a dirty play, in my opinion. I think she purposely, when you go and you go like that, like dude, like for her to go and directly poke on somebody's eye, like how many times? If that was the case, right? If that was the case, then how many times when like one of the basketball players goes to block a shot, poke somebody in the eye, you would see it left and right. It never happens.
exactly. Is this the first time that it happens to her? Or is this the third or fourth time?
No, this is one of the many things that they've done to her. This
Okay,
is one of
but
the many
how many
things that
times
they've
have they
done to her.
poked her in the eye?
No, this is the first time they poke her in the eye.
There you go.
But that doesn't mean that it wasn't intentional. That's just another thing. And not to mention that later down, apparently they caught her laughing. And they were like, she was saying, I wasn't laughing about that. I was laughing about something else. You might call me reaching, but I'm just feel like, again, I've never seen a league do their best players so dirty. Like, I don't even think they gave her a foul.
Sir, you grew up from the Michael Jordan era, bro. That's regular shit back in the day, bro.
What are you talking about, bro? In the Michael Jordan era, you freaking used to tap Michael Jordan on the fucking in his hand for like 2 seconds, or if you would touch him like this, they would call a foul on you, bro. You didn't have to. If you breathed on Michael Jordan, they would call a foul on you. That's how much. That's how much they took care of Michael Jordan. Do you remember the game-winning basket shot when he does it over Byron Russell, where he pushes off Byron Russell and does the fadeaway? That's a clear foul by Michael Jordan. He pushed away. They let him. They're like, yeah, he's good. He's Gucci, dude. They always took care of Michael Jordan, hands down. I don't know. I mean, look how they take care of like other players. They take care of all the time. Look at Messi, how they take care of Messi. They love Messi. When you have a superstar,
Sure.
they take care of certain players. They're gonna go ahead and protect them because you don't want your superstar to get hurt. That's the reality of the truth.
Maybe.
No, that
Hey,
you're right. You're right. But Michael Jordan was not as big in the 80s. Remember, his time started to flourish was in the 90s, early 90s, when he had to go against the Trailblazers with against Clyde Drexler, when he had to go against the Utah Jazz, when he had to go against those pesky Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, all those games. Even when they played against the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, anything you did to Michael Jordan, they would call it because they always favored Michael Jordan. That's facts right there, sir. Facts. All right, sir. Last thing we're gonna talk about, of course, is some soccer, sir. Talk to me, sir. Do you have any soccer news to break for us today?
I think this is where too much soccer is hurting these players, man. Unfortunately, my boy Kylian Mbappe, he had a muscular injury and he's out for 3 games, potentially even 5. But for now, the results is based off on 3 games. He's gonna miss the derby and 2 other La Liga games, and I believe a Champions League game. But I think this is where a prime example of why sometimes too much football can really hurt these players. And at the end of the day, yeah, okay, sure, we have players that are young and they're being developed and you need to put your depth and you need to be clinical and critical about who you play. But at the end of the day, who are the players that are filling in the stadiums? The likes of Mampes, the likes of Erling Haalands, the likes of Yaman, these players that fill up these stadiums.
Luis
And
Diaz, don't forget, sir.
Lucho Diaz, so these are players that you want them to be on the pitch, but then you want them to play 7-8 games within the span of 14, 18 days. It's crazy, dude. And right now the injuries are just piling up for
So,
Real Madrid.
are you telling me that soccer in general should take a Greg Popovich approach and sit some of their players? Because that's what they typically do on some of these games already.
They do it, but at the same time, if you kind of think about it, look at the international break. Like it's just nonstop football. It's just not only club level, it's international level too.
But Nick, you're paying these guys millions of dollars to go out there and perform.
100%. No, I agree. But at the same time,
you
the
can't put
intensity is big, bro.
you can't pull a Neymar that is in that Saudi team that has only played like 3 games in the past year and a half, and he's collecting millions of freaking dollars, sir. You need them to go out there and play.
I get you. But if you look at how they've been playing, it's been nonstop. When has there been a time period where they just haven't been able to just take a break for at least a month? It hasn't happened. It's either been international break or club level. And if it's not club level, then it's tournament level, like the likes of a Europa game or a Champions League game, and now it's like, I get it. You want Mompe to play 50 games a year because we're paying him an arm and a leg. But at the same time, I mean, the game is changing. And let's be real. Mompe is also getting hurt because this is a different tempo. This is a different style of play. This isn't French league football. So it's just different for him. So he's trying to still get adjusted and acclimated to this style of play. And the results is there. So at the end of the day, bro, I'm not disagreeing that they shouldn't be playing a lot of games, but bro, you got to give these athletes some time too, bro, because they also get tired. And it like I told you before in a couple of shows, it starts to lower down the level of importance of other tournament plays like domestic cups, even La Liga or like League Cups. Like there's gonna be teams where they're gonna be like, I don't care about the league anymore. We won that shit 4 or 5 times in a year. I don't care about the domestic cup because we've won that shit already 4 or 5 times a year. Now I want to just focus on Champions League. So it just sucks. It's just very. I agree with you. They should be playing a lot more, but at the same time, it's causing a lot of. It's just not club level. It's also international.
So let me ask you something. Would you be one that would criticize Leo Messi because Leo Messi's been injured the last couple of months, and he finally just made his way back to Inter Miami. Of course, they tied 1-1 against New York City this past Saturday. Would you criticize Lionel Messi for you know taking that approach, playing consistently here, there, here, there, and not actually taking a break? Do you, because if you're gonna take a break to these guys, then do you feel like maybe players like Lionel Messi? I want to use Lionel Messi because he's the face of the MLS. So let's keep it real. Or let's say Cristiano Ronaldo and Al Nazir or some of these other players, should they go ahead and take a break, or should they tell their coach, hey, you know what, give me a break because I shouldn't be playing all these games. I need to control the amount of uh, time on the field. That way I don't hurt myself.
I wouldn't criticize him because of the age. I mean, he's not getting any younger, Frank. So it's like it's tough for me to not let Messi breathe for a bit. And unfortunately, in Argentina, they I guess he's still, even though all the achievements he's done. Have you noticed that in Argentina, they're still like, yo, if you can play, we're putting you out there, bro. You
Yeah,
know?
that is kind of rough that they
Like
do
it's
that.
tough, and it puts Inter Miami in a pickle because at the end of the day, he's gonna do what he feels matters most, and it's putting his body on the line in Argentina. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm not gonna knock him for him playing in his club and his team, his actual selección team, because he's Argentina. If I was a player and I'm gotta go out there and represent my country, I'm gonna represent my country, even if I'm playing in Inter Miami or
hmm
playing in Juventus or playing any of it. For soccer mindset is, hey, look, I'm always gonna play for my team, my country. That's what I'm playing for, no matter what. That oversee over how do you say it? Over succeeds any other team I play for.
supersede.
Supersedes any other team that I play for, any club team or anything like that, because this is my country. This is what I want to do. So I can't knock Messi for playing the Argentina games. What I can go ahead and knock, not him in particular, but the coaching staff and people, is that you need to be able to control how much you're giving these guys on the field, on the pitch. You're
Yes,
paying them an arm and a leg. So should they be playing out there? Yes, but you need to control. They need to do a Greg Popovich, and you control their time. You control how much they go out there and play. But again, Nick, like what you said, it's also gonna hurt other different tournaments because hey, now you're not gonna see Mampe for a whole 90 minutes. Let's say playing a domestic cup. So then why should I tune into that domestic cup? Because I'm not gonna see him the whole game. I'm only gonna go ahead and see him for like 10 minutes. So I'll just check out
it's
the game for
great.
that 10
It
minutes.
it it's great for young talent because it gives them the opportunity to display their skill set, but it damages the engagement when it comes to fans. Even though you have those diehard fans that are gonna go and represent their team, even if they're playing a low tier team, but at the same time, it's not the same numbers if you go ahead and you put, oh, I'm gonna go see Arsenal or Liverpool or Manchester United and all these teams or Man City.
I
You
mean,
know,
look at
like
that game. Look at that derby between Arsenal and Man City. That was a really good game. And then Rodri got hurt in that particular game. And he tore, I think he tore his meniscus or something. He tore something really bad and he's out for the whole season. And again, it's early in the season, so that's a huge blow for Manchester City. And then keep in mind, the Kevin De Bruyne was already hurt. So and they weren't trying to they were disclosing his injury. They didn't want to say what he has because they were thinking that his injury is really bad too. So you have two really good quality players for Man City hurt. And you
and
know,
look, look there's been soccer every day. On Monday, La Liga was playing. Yesterday, Real Madrid was playing. Today, Barcelona's playing with the Europa League going on. Like, there's so much soccer, and you want everyone to play, but it's unrealistic. It's kind of like, how can I say this? I guess I don't know if this is a good analogy, but it's like working out. You work out your chest on Monday, and then you want them to work out chest again on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then you're gonna get you can't, you just can't. It's physically impossible. So I just want
Hey, you're gonna
people
hurt
to
yourself.
understand. Eventually one day your body's be like, coño, no puedo más, bro, no puedo más.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Sorry, anything else you wanted to talk about when it comes to soccer?
Um, uh, I'm just very happy with the Colombian talent right now. Um, I'm really looking forward with the goalkeeping position for Colombia. Um, right now there's top tier talent happening in the Italian league, and I'm just excited for that. Uh, there's international play in the next few weeks, so we should kind of start talking about what's gonna happen between Colombia and Bolivia and Colombia and Chile. So hopefully, I'll be excited for that. And when it comes to the derby between Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid, that game should be fun. And then on top of that, one last thing, I don't know what it is with James, but James is now going through the same shit again. Today, he was fresh off the bench, regular La Liga game, and didn't even give him a minute. And the reporters keep asking the coach, do you have something against him? Do you have something against him? And the first game he said, hey, I'm just letting James get acclimated, with the style and their training and all that stuff. Got it. Gave him 10 minutes. Cool. Next game, oh, you only played 10 minutes for him? Yeah, because, the next game he gave him 20. Yeah, because, I'm still trying to get him. And then out of nowhere, today 0. Like, what's going on? Does the coach not like him? Is it the attitude that James brings that we fear as James fans, that he's continuing this bullshit? It's just weird. It's just weird.
It could also be that maybe they don't want to rush him in and get him injured because he is prone to get injured and he is a much older player now. So it's a lot easier to get him injured, especially since his last ball club he was playing, he wasn't playing that much. You understand me? So you bring him into this team back into La Liga. Obviously, it's a big level up from where he was playing before, which was I think of the Brazilian league. So I can understand them taking it slow. Now, if we see this happen a month from now, then I'll start questioning and be like, okay, something's wrong. Something's up with the coach. Something's up with his attitude, or something must be happening because they're not letting the kid play.
Yeah,
And
it's
and, and
weird.
that's what I would say. On a side note, there was a couple games like you did say. Barcelona did win. They beat Getafe 1-0. Girona and Rayo, obviously the game we were talking about, that game ended up in the tie. And then yesterday we had two really good games. We had Real Madrid versus Deportivo Alaves, and they won 3-2. And Chelsea was a big win last night as well, 5-0 against Barrow. Now, I will say this: any big games that happened this past weekend, like I said, I tuned into that Man City Arsenal game. I know Chad is a big Arsenal fan, so shout out to you guys. You guys were able to pull in that draw, even though you guys should have won. Personally, in my opinion, you guys should have won. You guys what hurt you guys was that red card, and I think that's the reason why it was a little bit tough. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, man. I like the grit, man. I saw Gabriel Jesus and Haaland going at it one on one. So I like the intensity. I'm not gonna lie, I want to see somebody different than Man City. Man City has won too many times, so I do like Arsenal giving them a run for their money and challenging them and not backing down. I think that attitude is gonna lead them to hopefully win the Premier League. I don't know if they're gonna do it, but it's a tight battle up there. You got a very strong, obviously Man City team that always comes in pretty much wins it all the time. But you got an Arsenal the last couple of years that has been held, that has hold their own ground, and then obviously Liverpool is having a really good showing right now with their new coach. So it's pretty cool to see, a nice little trio up there competing for the EPL leaderboard, because obviously it's always usually Man City and it's blowing out and it's kind of frustrating. You want some competition, man. Some competition.
And shout out to Veron. He retired today, 31 years old, had a good career. I don't know what the hell man you did in order for him to force him to retirement, but hey, you know what? Good luck. Best of luck to you, man, in your future when it comes to not being a football player anymore.
It sucks that he retired, man, and it's true. He was playing really, really well for Man U, but maybe Man U just put too much wear and tear on him, and it just wasn't good enough anymore for his body. So, all right, sir. Well, that concludes our show. Another episode 40 in the books. Can't believe it's been 40 episodes. Just crazy. You can find me at Frankie Fresco on all social media and Fresco Music. Again, don't forget to follow the YouTube channel. I threw a little short out there about CM Punk, and I got a lot of views. So I appreciate everybody who saw that. And also, I took a snippet the other day and put what my controversial theory was about. Hopefully, Skyler and Tyler and all those guys. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out this past Sunday, but hopefully this Monday we actually do get a victory for the Miami Dolphins. Sir, where can the fans see you and find you?
Guys, you can catch me on X at that way Nick. That's kind of my main platform I'm in right now. I haven't been able to stream on Twitch much. I know EFC is 25 is coming up, so definitely gonna grab that. And if anybody wants to play a little bit of EFC, hey, I'm gonna put my PSN name on the next episode, and maybe we could play a pickup game.
Absolutely. Last time we played a pickup game, you destroyed me, so I could go ahead and vouch that my brother is a lot better in FC 2024 at least. Hopefully in 2025 I could change it up and have a better luck against you, sir, because I got destroyed, man. It was pretty bad. He was like,
It was a good game. It was a good game.
it was not a good game. It was an ass whooping that you gave me, bro. It was really bad. It made me feel bad. I was like, damn, bro, I sucked this bad. Jesus, but it's all
No,
good.
man, it's not. It's not that you're that. It's not that you're bad. You're a good. You're a good EFC player. It's just I've played so much FIFA. I'm not even exaggerating. The past 10 years, I started consistently playing FIFA or EAFC or whatever the hell you want to call it since. Well, you and I've been playing since a long time, but me being like committed ever since FIFA 14. From 14 and above, I've been pretty committed. I used to even print out formation papers. I used to look at their weakness, their strengths. I mean, I think my best record of all time was FIFA 17. I had like 655 wins to like 150 losses. I was ranked like 114th in the world, and that was probably like my best run when it comes to FIFA.
Wow, really nice of you, sir.
I cracked if not 114, I cracked top 100 in the world. I remember I met one guy who was like 600 to like 5. He won 600 games and only lost 5. And he destroyed me. He destroyed me like 5-2.
Was it Isaac? Isaac? It wasn't Isaac.
Nah, man. I don't play pro clubs. I think it's cool. It's something enjoyable, but I'm more of a season player. I like Ultimate Team too. I think Ultimate Team is pretty fun. But overall, I like to play with the clubs.
Well, you guys know if you guys want to play with us when it comes to any PlayStation or Xbox or anything like that, I'm a big Call of Duty fan. So I always play Call of Duty. As a matter of fact, I might be jumping on some Call of Duty after we end the podcast. So I'll be watching the finishing the documentary series of Vince McMahon and then playing some Call of Duty. So if any of you guys want to play Call of Duty, hit me up, send me a quick message, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and add you, and then we could do like a whatchamacallit, like either I have the new Call of Duty that just came out, and then the what is it, Warzone, because we usually play a lot of Warzone. So everybody in the chat board, let's go ahead and give some shout outs out there. Obviously, no doubt, sir, thank you so much for shouting us out for the big 40. Chad came at the end, Alice Velasquez, Big Al, thank you, sir, always. Memo coming in through as well. I saw No P was in the chat board. I appreciate No P being on there. And no, I wasn't gonna say your full name. Let's see, anybody else? Let's see who else I have. Steven Gonzalez, sir, thank you. You were the first one in tonight's chat. Oh, look, we had a new name right there. Jeffrey Morales. Cuando va a traer Easy WWE, NXT, ECW, Chicago. That was his question. We also had brother. How do you say this, brother? His ¿cómo se llama? His font is kind of hard to read. Brother
Contreras.
Brother Contreras, but I don't know what's in between.
Well, if you look at the bottom, he said brother BKL Contreras, aka sportainment guy.
There you go. Oh, you're right. You're right. On the chat, he did say that. He said, brother BKL Contreras, aka Sport Entertainment Guy. Cool. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you being. Cat for Life was there. Stanley Media House also in the building. Anybody else? Josh was in the building as well. I saw some yeeting out there.
Yeet.
All right. I think everything we covered. All right, brother. Well, thank you all you guys who tuned in on Twitch, on Facebook, on X, on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. Again, if you're going to be at the game on Monday, I will be out there. My brother won't, but I'll be out there. I'll show some love to the Dolphins. Hopefully, we are able to pull that victory. And then hopefully on Wednesday, we'll be able to talk about us winning instead of us crying and frustrated with the Miami Dolphins and Mike McDaniel. But for all everybody who tuned in, thank you so much. And next week, episode 41. Later, guys.
Let me talk to you.
The biggest icon in wrestling.